Well, good morning everybody, and welcome once again to another episode of the Fells of Great Britain. Today I'm in the Lake District again, and I'm doing a fairly easy climb, but I'm hoping a very picturesque climb. I'm in the Northern Lakes, just south of Keswick, in the Newlands Valley, which connects Keswick to Buttermere, and I'm going to go up Causey Pike today. Which I did a few years ago in the summer, and it was the most delightful walk, so it'll be interesting to see what it's like in winter. So let's take a look at the objective for today. And there it is in the distance. Has a very prominent summit that is observable from quite some distance. It stands out in the landscape. Wonderfully lit this morning in this morning sunshine. We're into February now, and this is the very first hint of spring. I've just panned around now to the north, and you can see, well, you can't actually see Keswick, but you can see the mountain that Keswick is noted for. Behind there you can see Skiddaw, and over there is Blencathra. And then just coming into view in the centre of the frame now is Clough Head. So I'm hoping for a good walk today. I'm hoping that there isn't too much frost about. Otherwise I might get into a little bit of difficulty. It's always rather too easy, I think, in the winter to go out on a sunny day and expect everything to be fine, but you can be caught out in parts of the climb that are out of the sun. Anything that's north facing will be out of the sun and likely to be quite frosty. So let's see how we get on, and let me show you the route for today.
The Lake District National Park lies in the north of England in the county of Cumbria, and our walk today starts in the north of the park, just south of Keswick, from a small settlement called Stair. Heading south initially along the unclassified road, we take the steep path heading southwest just after having crossed Stoneycroft Gill over a small bridge. This path is very steep, somewhat rocky, but very well defined, and it brings us very quickly to our first summit of the day, Rowling End. We then make the easy trek along Sleet Hause for around half a mile or so. Along the way, the path steepens markedly, ending in a very steep and somewhat scrambling ascent to the summit of Causey Pike. From here we head due west, down a path to High Moss, at the bottom of which we turn directly east and pick up the miners' track that takes us to the south of Outerside and of Barrow, essentially following the route of Stoneycroft Gill back down to our starting point. As we head back towards Stoneycroft Farm, we enjoy splendid views across open countryside towards the Lake of Derwentwater. The route covers about 4.5 miles and will take 3 to 4 hours to complete.
Well, the views are opening up quite nicely. I've not walked for very long. The path is very steep, but very easy. It's good underfoot, plenty of grip. No frost at the moment. And the objective for the day is still in view. I've had such trouble recently with my boots not giving me the grip. So this sort of terrain is very welcome. Wonderful the way the sun is just coming over the crest there. You can hear the streams roaring in the background. And over there is Derwent water, looking very still and tranquil in this very frosty scene. Well, this may only be a 2,000 foot climb. Well, not even that, because you don't start at sea level from where I'm parked. But my God, it's tough, especially when there's so much rock to clamber over, and you never quite know whether you're going to get any grip. So I'm having to use my hands quite a lot on a path that you wouldn't normally use your hands on, just to give me another point of contact. So my next step is to take on this, and it's only about 30 feet or so, but I don't know how slippery this is. Let's see how we get on. Lovely isolated tree there. You quite often find this on the fells, just lone trees. Not sure what species that is, but it's glistening in the sunlight beautifully. I love the way that the vistas open up as you gain altitude. Lower down you can only get a glimpse of Derwent water and of Blencathra and Clough Head over there, but now they're in full view. There's a little bit of mist in the valley there, can you see? Right in the centre of view, finishing at a temperature inversion. That will probably burn off as the day goes on. So we're almost at the first summit of today, called Rowling End or Rowling End. It's a very minor peak, but it's got a lovely top, as you can see now, and absolutely fantastic views of our objective for the day, Causey Pike, which is standing in glorious sunshine now, which is both fine to look at and holds every prospect of giving me a walk up that last precipitous cliff-looking structure at the top there, which you have to kind of scramble up, a few handholds. You can't just walk up it, so the sunshine hopefully will get rid of any frost. Let's hope so. I'm so pleased to have got to the top of this first peak. I don't know what it is about my health and my fitness. I really struggle, but it's well worth it when you get to here. It's just as I remember it a few years ago. I said earlier that I did this in the summer, and it really is quite lovely. There's something about those fells that are covered in bracken and heather. They really do have a unique character about them compared to, say, the Scafell Massif, and where it's very rocky. Really is quite lovely in this part of the Lake District. And you can see behind me now Causey Pike, splendidly lit. So let me just show you what I can see. We've got the Skiddaw Massif there, and then Derwent water, and the Vale of St John, and Clough Head just coming into the centre of view now. And then in the foreground here, in the midfield, as they say, is Cat Bells, I think. And then moving around to here, we've got Robinson in view. And then in the far distance, the mountains on the other side of Buttermere, we've got Red Pike there and High Stile. You can't see High Crag. And we're looking directly up the Newlands Valley, and at the top of the valley there is a pass, Newlands Pass, and then the road dips very sharply down into Buttermere, which is a lovely village. And of course in the chapel in Buttermere there is a little memorial to Alfred Wainwright at a window in the chapel which looks directly up Buttermere towards Haystacks, where his ashes are spread. And Haystacks was his favourite mountain. I don't quite know who put the memorial plaque inside the chapel, whether it was the local authority or the church, but it's a lovely thing to see. I'm a huge fan of Wainwright, and it was his books that really got me interested in walking the fells. A little bit of a rest now as I walk along this crest to the final part of the ascent path up Causey Pike. I must say it comes as a very welcome respite, because to get to the top of Rowling was pretty hard for me. And I think the rocks actually are problematic a lot of the time, because there are lots of little alternative paths that get you round some of the very rocky stretches. I think a lot of people over the years have trodden other paths and other routes. But it's a splendid climb, and you're rewarded hugely when you get to the top. And this particular path here, I think, is just quite lovely. You've just got the summit of Causey Pike in view all the time. Get it in focus. Yeah, so as I walk along this very easy path, all covered in gorse, well, not the path, but on either side, and no real frost, a little bit of wet, but very nice, easy going, as they say. And you can see this kind of volcanic knob of rock at the top of Causey Pike, which gives it that very distinctive look and enables people to identify it from great distance. Even from Keswick, you can see this particular summit quite well. And it's that little knob of rock that I'm a bit worried about. I hope it's not too greasy. It's bound not to be frosty now, because you can see it's illuminated in sunshine. But it could be wet and very slippery, so we'll see. So a few nice switchbacks along this route here, which makes the gradient a bit easier to deal with. But I fear this is going to be worse than the ascent to Rowling, which is down there now, so we're above that. Ah, well, the end is within sight. Right, well, that's the end of the path. From now on, it's a hands and feet job. It looks dry, so I should be okay. He says. Oh dear. Oh. Take a look. I just saw a couple go up there, so it's clearly doable. Here we are at long last.
Bit muddy at the top, but then it's right there and bring up on top. You'll see it.
Lovely, absolutely glorious.
Nice lady, yeah? Guess where we're at?
Oh, it's just marvellous, absolutely marvellous. Oh, I'm so pleased to have got here, and the day, weather-wise, has been so splendid. The weather forecast was spot on. Very, very little wind. Clear blue skies everywhere. You couldn't really wish for a better day, because you see, in summer you get a lot of heat haze on a day like this when it's sunny in the summer. The views are not as good. Although, having said that, of course, there is a bit of heat haze today, a bit of mist generated by the sunshine. Absolutely glorious. I'm going to have my lunch now. Right, sandwiches eaten, packed up, making the descent now. Well, I've not reached the apex of the walk, so I'm not on the return leg, although I'm going down now. And just up ahead is Crags, and that's included on today's walk, but I'm not sure that I'm going to go up it. I'm a bit tight against the clock. I don't want to get caught out here in poor light, so I'll make a decision in a moment. Well, somewhat disappointingly, I think I ought to call it a day and go back down here. There is a path back down to ground level from here. The alternative is to carry on up Crags, which looks quite lovely. Let me just show you. Which is lovely in the sunshine there. But then I'd have to drop down to the saddle between Crags and Sale. And looking over on this side, it's all in shadow and has been all day. The sun doesn't get over there at all at this time of year. And the path that I was planning to use, I've not done before. So I'm just wondering whether it might be a bit too icy. And I could come unstuck and find it very difficult. And of course it's winter and we haven't got an awful lot of sunshine left in the day. So I think what I'm going to do is call it a day now. It's been great, and I'll go back down into this valley here. I think that's south side over there, and Barrow, and work my way back down to the car. I think it's the prudent thing to do. Added to which my knees are giving me a bit of trouble right now, so you have to let your body speak to you, and I am on my own, and so if I get into trouble, I've got no one to assist me. In the summer, you have these very long days, and if you get slowed down by something, you've got plenty of sunlight, plenty of daylight to keep you in play, as it were. But on a February day, sunny as it is now, the sun sets very quickly, and so I think the best thing for me to do is to draw the walk to a close. But it's been absolutely fantastic. I'm really glad that I took the trouble to come out today. It's something that in winter you should always do, seize any day that comes along. But today was quite special in that it was windless and also sunny, which is a real double bonus. So I'll do a final panorama now and then wend my way back to the car. And there's Grisdale Pike over there. A number of people on the top of Causey Pike have done the massive walk, the horseshoe walk, which involves going up Grisdale Pike and then coming around here to Hope Gill Head and then Eel Crag. Quite a trek. Very impressive, these people, in having completed that in just 5 or 6 hours. Well, I think I've made the right decision. This alternative path gets me down more quickly and earlier in the day, of course, but it's also north facing, so it's very icy. So I think the shorter this route is, the better. If I'd gone over Crags, I would have extended the descent by quite some margin. So I think that was the right decision. As you can see on the path here, it's very icy. And over there, which is my return route, you can see the sun's shadow is moving up the hillside now as the sun sets. So with any luck, with this shorter descent route, I ought to be able to get back over there before the sun disappears and have at least a bit of my walk in the sunshine. Because there's a marked difference in temperature as you come off the top in the sunshine and come down this path here. It's a good deal cooler. Absolutely no wind, mind you. Glorious relief. When the sun is low in the sky like this, it produces wonderful shadows. Well, I didn't make it down to this path before the sun left it. The shadow of the sun has now crept up this side of the outer side and is on its way to the summit. The shadow will move to the tops as the afternoon progresses. But Barrow down there is still beautifully illuminated. Well, this descent path is very easy, and in fact, if you're not up to the scrambling ascent up the northern face of Causey Pike, this is an alternative route that just about anybody could do. It's very easy, the slope's not too difficult, and you still get those fantastic views when you get to the top of the pike. Well, I have to say it's still rather icy. I'd like to come here again in the summer actually and see it when everything's in growth, when the bracken is growing again, and the gorse and the heather as well, which looks splendid when it's in flower. So I'm probably about an hour away from the car now, and I'll have a well-earned cup of tea when I get back. It's a pity I couldn't risk taking doing the rest of this route today, but I think I've made the right decision, as I've said. So this brings me to the end of another walk, and I do hope you got something from it, and if you feel minded to, do join me again when I next walk the fells of Great Britain. Bye for now.